Bodine here. I have hiked my way into a beautiful nature's therapy session for the day to relax and just kind of get the bearings. The last couple of videos I talked about a few things, and one of those was, of course, retirement, and the other one, debt. How do you retire? Are you going to have enough money to retire? The stress of trying to find a job. Do I work during retirement? Do I not work? Well, there's a few things that go into that I've been thinking about the last few days, and I thought maybe this would really help, because maybe you're thinking the same things, going through it, or these thoughts are kind of just going through your head. Maybe you're going to talk to some folks about it, but maybe they don't know. But I'm going to give just a little bit of advice on what I found out in the last week or so. Just over the last couple days, really had a couple things that really were interesting that I found out. Let's start with a couple of things. Can a person afford to retire on Social Security? And I'm going to say yes, because many times we can. There's a lot of folks maybe that can't, depending on what you put in. You got to get out, right, what you put in, and you don't get close to what you put in out of it. So it comes down to the monthly. And the way I really did this was I had a long conversation. It was an hour and 20 minutes with the Social Security Department. Went over everything, and they showed me, FRA, full retirement age, all the way back to being 62, as I'm going to be 62. The money at 62 is pretty good. The money at 65, even better. The money at 67, better than that. And 70, of course, real good. Here's the question. How long do we expect to be around? 70 years old, anything can happen. And then you work all these years, and at 70, you say, how am I going to make an extra $400 a month at 70? And I wanted to wait. But at 70, you don't make 70, or something happens physically at 70, you don't get to do anything. Is money the most important thing? No, I don't think so. My opinion, not a financial advisor. But if you wait too long, then you jeopardize losing the health and being able to do things, but you have some money. So we jeopardize our freedom and our health and being able to do things to get a few $100s a month extra. Better plan? Find a way to budget. Is what I'm doing. Find a way to budget and be able to retire earlier so you have those quality years to be able to do things with friends, family, loved ones, your wife, your husband. That is super important. That's more important to me than $400 a month. I'd rather live small and have less money. But would you really have less money? Because most people, the more they make, the more they spend. So to me, it makes sense to just watch the spending, cut the cost of living down, take an earlier retirement, but make sure that the debt's paid off first. So this segues into the debt. I am on a plan. Rigid plan at this point. Started it a month ago, even more rigid now. A lot of things have been happening. Pay the debt down. You pay the debt down, next thing you know, that $400 a month isn't as important because you don't have the debt. Get it paid off. Find a way to live. What is my budget? Budget now. Things are going to go up over the next 10 years. Most likely they have been. Expenses go up. Well, we need to find a way to kind of counterbalance that. So if we look at what our Social Security is going to be, you can make an account at the Social Security website, or you can make an appointment to go in and see them. Super important. For me, it was just eye-opening, mind-blowing, the information they know and how they could help. And I said something about it in the last video, but I wanted to get into detail because it'll take the stress levels down. And the earlier you start talking about it, the better. So you have the knowledge and you know where you're going with it. You want to know where every dollar is going out of your check. And if it's going to Social Security, what's Social Security going to pay me when I retire? What's it going to be at 62? What's it going to be at 65? 63. My plan, looks like 63. Being at 63 years old, it's going to be higher than 62. My wife, 1 year younger than I am, actually 9 months younger than I am. She can file under me when she's 62, and she gets a percentage of what I make at full FRA. FRA, which means the maximum benefit that I would receive at 67. That's what her percentage, if she files under me, she gets. So I get my Social Security. So if you have a spouse that maybe doesn't qualify or their Social Security is not as high as what it would be to get a percentage of your loved one, she can file under me and she gets a higher percentage. There's a lot of details there, but there's some things there. So that gives me income then at 63, gives me another chunk of money for us to live on. So my plan, 63. Go to the website, talk to somebody about it, and figure out what your plan is going to be, because you have to have a plan going into retirement. If you don't have a lot of money put away, you need to know where your money's going to come from. If your money's not working for you currently, you need to know where your money's going to come from. How am I going to get there? How am I going to do it? So to me, that was really important in an eye-opening scenario. So really good day today, getting things paid off, looked at things, budgets looking good, and I have a plan. I have a plan drawn out. I put it down on paper. I compared it year on year. You know, you can get on the computer. You can go to Google. You can go to ChatGPT. Not a big AI guy, right? But you go to chat and you can put the scenarios and the numbers in there and it'll give you a whole spreadsheet. A whole spreadsheet and do the scenarios of your age, your spouse's age. Find out what your benefit will be from the Social Security Department. It'll let you know exactly with your FRA what it would be, where your wife would be and what percentage she would get. Very easy scenario to use ChatGPT and get it done. So that's what I'm doing. That's the plan that I have. And the debt is going away. I'm not going to overspend. We only get what we need. You know, we're not going to need the fancy clothes. We're not going to need the stuff because you know what? I am who I am. What I wear, what I drive, and those things aren't important. What's important is being happy, being healthy, and being able to get out in the nature and do these great things. So that's really what this was about, trying to help because I went through it. I'm going through it with the job loss. That's another thing. I'm looking for the job. So I got to find a job that I love because I'm not going to go back into misery. That's going to make enough money for the next year to get the debt paid off. That's going to give me the work-life balance, spend time with the family, be able to do the things I love, and be debt-free at 63. So that almost rhymed. Debt-free at 63. I kind of like it. So that's where it's at. This is me in a nutshell. You know, 62, 63, just got to hang in there, stay healthy, get it done. And I know a lot of you are a little bit older, a lot of you are younger. Same scenario. Really have a plan. Don't be afraid. You don't need the fancy stuff. You don't need those things. You need your health. You need your family. You need your loved ones. You need to have fun. You need to do things for yourself. We've got one life. Let's live it. And try to do it as stress-free and as debt-free as possible because debt equals stress. That's for sure. So if you have a plan and you're paying it down, you feel a lot better. There's a lot of financial planners, a lot of people out there, the Dave Ramsey sorts, right? And they're great, but at the same time, they can talk all day long. But if you don't implement, if you don't do something, if you don't make one change today to make your life better, it's the wrong thing. Make your life better. One thing today. Make that decision and get it done. Live happy, live healthy, get outside, get that fresh air like I say every time. This has been such a relief for me to figure these things out and get them done. And I certainly appreciate all the comments and everybody watching. We're going to keep this going because there's so much to share in my journey as to where I'm going now and what I'm finding out with interviews and jobs after 62. We're going to have a whole nother video on that because let me tell you, there are some great stories. But today, just another day out in nature, enjoying it, paying down the debt to live free. We'll see you in the next one.